According to our Adrian Wojnarowski, Kawhi Leonard and Greg Popovich will meet before the draft to clear the air. Now, last year, in the summer, he had a similar meeting with LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus, if you remember, asked to be traded. And what Pop said to LaMarcus was, if you can work me out a trade for like a Kevin Durant type player, he said, I will pack your bags. I will drive you to the airport. We will make it happen. He said, otherwise, to LaMarcus, I'm not going to be able to get value for you back. So he said, I'm your best friend.
Same thing to Kawhi.
Right. Same
I'm
script,
your best
right?
friend. You might as well figure out a way to make this work. And then to Pop's credit, he adjusted to what LaMarcus said.
Yes.
He adjusted to the way LaMarcus said he would like to play on the floor. I don't know if maybe he could get value for Kawhi back. I mean, Kawhi Leonard would fetch a very different trade package than LaMarcus would. And also, Kawhi, has a little bit more sort of pull in here because he either can or can't sign the extension this summer, and that would determine his value also. What do you guys think is going to happen
Greg
here?
Popovich is going to walk in and say, here you go, Kawhi. Read this. Read this.
Sign on
and it's going to say
$219 million.
It's not going to even say that. It's just going to say supermax. It's going to say supermax.
Oh,
yeah.
Because, by the way, $19 million
means a lot.
$19 million.
So he's going to say supermax because I know he knows the number.
Absolutely.
It's no talking.
$219 million.
Yeah, he's going to say, here it is.
I'm very curious if the
let's talk it out from here.
offer it. See, I have no doubt Kawhi will sign it if he's offered it, because no one turns down $219 million.
Woo.
He would only really have to stay there for a year by the CBA. Then he could get traded again if he wanted to force his way out of there. I am curious if you were the Spurs, and I just don't know this question. I'm not trying to push at something. Do you give $219 million in 5 years to a guy who you had miscommunication issues with all season and who has an injury that he couldn't play all season?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And in all seriousness,
that's a good answer. I just don't know.
The question coming from the player, I want to know, how long are you going to be here, Pop? Because I know what happened during the season with his wife and everything.
Yep.
I want to know if you still have the desire and the commitment to coach me if I sign this extension. That I really want to know that. But Kawhi shouldn't go anywhere. I mean, Kawhi with this team this year, it's a pretty damn good team and very competitive in the Western Conference. Second best to me in the Western Conference if he is healthy on his ball club. And who knows what could have happened if he was with them. So I think he should resign back.
That's over Houston. That's surprising.
I think the second best.
Yeah. I think the familiarity, the legacy play, the money. I mean, there's so many things in their favor. And then if you're the Spurs, if Pop is putting himself out there, to want to repair whatever's going on, then there's probably not as much concern as we believe, right? I mean, why even go through this process? Just trade him if it was so irreparable. But
I feel like they feel he's so valuable to their team because he's a great two-way player, one of the best we've seen, and he's important. He fits with what happens and what goes on and what Pop is about, what the Spurs are about.
There are no Kawhis out there.
Yep, no,
you're not getting that back.
Both ends.
He fits. So
2020 Olympics, though, that's a good point about Pop. Some people thought that'd be the natural endpoint for him.
Right.
Will
So
he stay longer than that?
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like Pop says, "Here's this, here's that.
I'll take it."
Max. I says, "What's your commitment?"
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there you go. Now that you start from there, and then everything else is.
But you're talking about him being like a Pop type player and what a great player he is. All of that is the Kawhi Leonard you're talking about prior to this season. And this is not saying that Kawhi's character has changed. I believe him to still have an excellent character, and I absolutely believe if he could have played this season, he would have. He's competitive. It's not like he was just sitting to sit.
Right.
But clearly there was an issue there. I mean, we saw that coming out on both sides. We saw that in the way that the Spurs talked about him, listed him on the injury report. He wasn't listed as injured. He was listed as, continuing to return from whatever. I mean, there was definite disagreement with this was not usual Spurs, everyone fall in line, everyone for the team, kumbaya. So
for them also. So maybe they say, hey, we say this to deter all of the questions.
Maybe.
I honestly thought he was something was up.
I think it was a little bit of Boston Celtics and Isaiah Thomas situation where they misdiagnosed his injury.
I think
he didn't like that.
I think something's up, and I thought he just having some conversation with him throughout the year. Hey, I was like, hey, be smart. Come back when you're ready. Don't let all of the conversation that veterans tell younger guys. And he was like, I'll take that in the heart, and I won't. So but just I don't know. The conversation just seemed weird. Like it's something that we don't know.
Okay.
Right.
And in my opinion, so I don't know.
You played for the Spurs. Like, do you think that culture is modern enough to deal with the kind of drama that?
You can ask Tracy about it because he will turn to you and he goes, "I didn't play for the Spurs,"
okay,
and then I say, "You were there, Tracy.
Okay, you donned the uniform.
Someone was wearing a Tracy McGrady Spurs jersey at a concert this weekend.
We got to teach Dave how to work.
I enjoyed my time in San Antonio.
Okay.
Pop was awesome.